Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRC DJ Live.
You know, I feel like it has been more than just a week ago since we actually came on here to talk DJ talk, and it was right, because we did have to take a week off because of me not only traveling out to Las Vegas, but also meeting up with some IRL DJs and the industry professionals to get to know where they're standing at when it comes to all sorts of modern things within the DJ scene. And of course, as we've already kind of known that occasionally we have to take time for ourselves, and we can't just constantly be doing 3 events every weekend in the scene, and taking a little bit of extra time for love and care obviously is a very important time. So welcome on back. We're back. Final week of February, and glad to have you here on the program. This is VRC DJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host, and really glad to have everybody here engaging in the VRChat community and being able to sit down and kind of chat about not only things that are going on in the community, but also everything that's kind of coming up down the line, especially for those inspiring to be DJs. We always love to talk about new DJ concepts. Honestly, I mean, there is a... I'm going to make sure I ask you a little bit later, but I did hear word that Serato is getting an update very soon, and they have this huge thing that they're saying with Serato, but we'll get into it much later too, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, ew, Serato, but we'll get into it. Of course, if you're brand new here to the channel, we talk everything DJ here, especially within the VRChat scene, but even more so outside of the DJ scene. We talk about dancing, we talk about VJing, we talk about content creation, we talk about security, starting clubs. If you're a world creator, we talk all about that stuff here on the program. And as you could clearly tell too, we're in a brand new studio. We're kind of building a brand new studio, a brand new experience. So you at home get to not only get to experience some awesome things within the program here, but also get to come on in and see the show live and just be a part of it. And speaking of which, kickstarting our brand new experience, actually our guest had no idea that we were going to have this brand new studio. Triple threat of VRChat, DJ, dancer, VTuber. It's performed for many clubs such as DDVR, Rizumu, Beat Syndicate, Letha, and many more. And as far as I know, one, if not the only Nettle DJ VTuber in our scene. Please welcome to the VRC DJ Live Studios, Chrysaora.
Hello. How we doing? Oh my gosh, I can already see people I know. I've got some of my mother here.
It was funny that we started.
Hi, everyone.
We started the stream and like you were like, "Oh, I got to get my water. I got to make sure that I hydrate," because that's what you end up telling chat. But it's kind of fun that people are proactively coming in, and now you're just like, maybe they need to hydrate a little.
Yeah, gotta hydrate, guys. Remember the rule: being thirsty is cringe. That applies on other people's streams too. I'm looking at you. I know the culprits.
Not for nothing too. I mean, listen, we got some colder weather for a lot of people in the country and in the world too, but like you still gotta hydrate even though it is still kind of cold out, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also 95% water, so I mean, there'd be only 5% of me if I didn't drink.
I know. It was like one of the things that was very interesting when we first met up a couple of weeks ago was just the fact that like you've got this whole Nettle thing going on, and not only that, but like you love jellyfish. Is there a difference between Nettles and jellyfish?
It's like how there's different types of cats. You've got Persian cats, you've got Pallas cats, you've got this, I guess, hairless cats. While sea nettle is just a type of jelly.
And I know even when we were kind of getting together, you were just like, man, I really wish we had some opportunities to talk about jellies. So I want to know a few fun facts, because I feel like you have just an encyclopedia of facts about sea nettles.
Oh yeah, sea nettles and jellyfish in general. So my name, Chrysaora, is the name of the jellyfish that I based on myself, the Pacific sea nettle, which is Chrysaora VRChat. I definitely butchered the species name. I can never pronounce it for the life of me, but that's fine. But anyway, the part Chrysaora comes from the son of Poseidon, Chrysaor. So that's where my name comes from. But as for more jellies, there's so many different species. There's the jellyfish that's upside down that creates the water, basically an area of stinging water by ejecting stinging cells into like this kind of cloud to trap prey. I mean, there's also the fact that jellyfish reproduce sexually and asexually. It's almost like you gave birth to a 3D printer, printing out the same copy out of itself over and over again. That is how the jellyfish do. And do you know box jellyfish have eyes and they technically actively hunt?
Oh. Do most of them have beaks? I feel like I'm thinking squids, right?
No, you're thinking of squid. You're thinking of squid. No, we do not have beaks.
But like, how does it? I mean, listen, if I go to the aquarium and like, there's a bunch of like sea creatures, and they're just like, "Did you know?" And I'm like, "No, I don't," because I don't proactively look into sea creatures. But like, how do jellyfish eat? Besides, like, I feel like they would sting and then they would try to consume, but I've never seen anyone consume.
Well, okay, so jellyfish have technically two types of appendages. We've got the tentacles and we've got the oral arms. And you can think of like the tentacles which help with the stinging, but the oral arms are those like bushy things, which are actually the things that come out of my avatar. In fact, you know what's easier? If I swing into this, the small tubey parts are my tentacles and the inner parts are my oral arms. And they essentially will guide, once I've stung my prey, they'll guide my food to my mouth and anus. Because I only have one hole. Well, jellyfish only have one hole.
So does
it's a hole for everything.
So yeah, I was gonna say, does it kind of like circulate? You put the food in and then it circulates back out.
Food
the same
way? Yeah. So yes.
All right, 2026
Basically.
new goal for everybody. All right, make sure that you reverse engineer all of your holes to make sure that they work. But if you're gonna go full jellyfish, I don't know. Listen,
I only have got one I need to worry about.
Yeah, with Atlas, I don't know. It's not even like, hey, welcome in. We got all fresh new faces. They're just like, Rob just asked you to do what? My gosh. So I'm kind of curious because, like, again, you've known so much information about the whole species of these marine life animals. Like, what caused you to become this spirit animal? Was it because of a spirit animal? Did you have a moment, or?
It was purely an accident. Way back in the day in 2018, when you're on VRChat and there was only like 4,000 players online, and if you knew a guy, and you basically knew everyone who played the game. I used to be I think it was a Twitch mod for a decently sized VRChat streamer at the time, and I just happened while like hanging out with them, I ran into the streamer, Australian streamer called Hey I'm B, and they told me that my demonic girl body reminded them of Jello. So that's where the whole jellyfish thing started, and over about 7 years, my avatar has morphed closer and closer and to being jellyfish inspired. I thought, like, sometimes you don't, it's not something, sometimes it just hits you, like, I was destined to become a jellyfish, and now I'm a jellyfish girl for 7.5 years.
I mean, all of that's kind of important to know, too. And we talked a lot about it, especially here on the program. We got some fresh new faces. We got some new DJs, especially coming in, either testing the waters, pun intended. That's a bit. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's not like I was holding on to that one for 5 years. But at the same time, like, it's important because it's the same thing as, like, your branding, your identity, coming up with a DJ name. I know recently... I don't know recently. I don't know how active people are using AI to like generate new DJ names, or like maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe they're kind of going. I feel like more people have the username generation websites, kind of like how you were to come up with your gamer tag, kind of a thing. But there's like a DJ kind of a thing like that. But but like, again, when people are kind of learning about whether or not they want to go for a specific style or brand, it's very interesting to hear how all of that kind of comes into play, especially when it just comes into play naturally like that.
Yes, I think it's important. It's important that you come up with your own. Like, sometimes it will hit you. Sometimes you just don't need to be searching. It will just be bestowed upon you. Likewise, when like looking for, like, there's so many cat, dog, bunny VTubers. It's like there are so many animals in the world that you can base yourself on to get unique. Maybe you like Pegdolins as a kid, and you want to be a Pegdolin VTuber, or maybe KIWIS, or even a mythical animal, or like anything. But I like it when I see unique animals that people might not have heard about, because especially if you're like me and you come from a family who's very environmental focused, you can also through your character also promote conservation of said animal.
Mm-hmm. And also too, like as you were saying, like everybody can find ways of integrating VTuber styling, and I know that's good. We're going to be talking a little bit about that, later on in the program too, just because it's something that we talk about a lot in our scene. And funny enough, well, not very funny, because I heard some news. We'll get into it a little bit later, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Boo! I can't believe this is actually a thing." But one of the fears of going early 2026 right now is the fact that celebrities are becoming DJs, or you'll hear of like somebody that's popular, and let's just say they fell off in Hollywood. And for some reason, they're just like, hey, wait a minute. Like Rebecca Black, for example. Rebecca Black had a hit several years ago. And then all of a sudden, she tried to remake it. She did Friday, and then she did Friday again, like a new version of it. And then she said, you know what? I'm going to be a DJ. And then all of us were kind of like, I don't know, man. And like when it comes to the VTubers, I feel like it's either you learn how to sing, or you learn how to dance, or you learn how to do something. But we haven't really seen too many VTubers in general just decide DJ. Like maybe we're gonna find DJ. Like we haven't. Listen, I don't want to say it out loud, but we haven't seen DJ Iron Mouse, for example. God forbid we have DJ Iron Mouse, and then everyone's just like paying $200 to go see DJ Iron Mouse. But we'll feed into a lot of that too, because again, in our space, there's so many different avenues that you can go down, especially in virtual reality. Speaking of which, it's VRCDJLIVE. It's a live program. We're live. We're live on Twitch. We're here with Chrysaora.
This isn't pre-recorded, I swear. I'm being held. No, I am being held with my will. Not against my will. That's usually the case.
Yeah,
help,
we're not,
please save me.
We're not
blink.
we secretly have a belt buckle that's like strapping you down to the chair. So no. Yeah, it's just for your it's for your safety.
Kind of interview.
Yeah, it's for your safety, so you don't.
My safety.
We can't pay.
No, it's for your safety. Is what it's really for.
We can't pay for the insurance if you get knocked off your chair for some reason.
Pay for the Oh, it's just the economy we are living in.
What? That we can afford seatbelts?
No, that we can't afford the insurance.
Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants, literally. And because it's a live program, we got a lot of people here in chat ready to ask all of the dire questions. And this is the time, man. Like if we're sitting in with your favorite DJ, this is the time to start asking some very important questions. And funny enough, we've had a lot of people in chat started talking about us breaking down the lore. And at some point in time... Is there more to the lore that you want to add before I start asking you questions about the lore?
Oh, they're gonna bring up the mod abuse allegations again, aren't they?
Are your mods trustworthy? Are they not trustworthy?
I don't know. Are they? Technically they're my employees, but I'm not sure that I'm a great boss. Carla, you shut your mouth. I am trustworthy. Yeah, I probably trust Jano.
No, it's important to make sure that you have a good mod team as well, because who knows? I mean, maybe they'll start streaming and then you have to mod, and then it's your responsibility
then. So true.
But yeah,
I mean, I almost had to fight them, make them fight Battle Royale to see who will get head mod now. And now I see that Twitch has released, was it the manager? Well, it was something like business manager role. And I'm like, damn, there's the VTuber boyfriend role? I didn't realize that was a thing now.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different things, especially moving forward, and like having those topics too, and making sure that your mods are doing a good job But they're already doing a good job because they're here. They're going to ask all the weird questions, I'm sure. But again, it is a live program. Feel free to ask all of your important questions because we are just sitting here with Chrysaora for 2 hours. And we're going to be talking a lot about not only just DJing, but dancing, VTubing, content creation, kind of a really important role when it comes to the DJ scene in here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the DJs in here, we keep forgetting that we have the tools and resources to like record our sets and put them online. And there's a lot of social media stuff that's free right now, and being able to integrate our energies when we are performing on Twitch and stuff. Speaking of which, I know I'm going to kind of jump right into it just because I feel like some things get a little missed in translation when it does come to the scene in here. And for example, time zones. Time zones are a really big, important part to how we perform in here, how we handle business and stuff. And I think a lot of people do recognize the fact you're from New Zealand. And for you to be able to try to integrate with, you know, all the different time zones, all the different, you know, countries and stuff like that. How's that been kind of working out for you? Because I think what you did mention earlier on, before you even came on to the stream, is that like you kind of consider yourself as someone who comes on a stream and it's music for people to wake up to and people to kind of kickstart their day based on what you're performing.
Yeah, a big chunk of my audience is European, which is very wild for me that I'm DJing for people halfway across the globe and they being my primary audience, which can be kind of annoying because I can get booked for, so when I get booked for events, they're either super early in the morning or they're at a reasonable time, but none of my main audience can actually attend them, which is a bit of a tricky situation to be in. I'm just very thankful that this tool called Hammer Time exists and that Discord allows for timestamps, because I do remember a time before timestamps, and that was chaotic. I basically had to memorize time zone offsets off by heart, especially back in the day when I used to be a promoter, and like dealing with like one other promoter who forgot about a time zone change and had to rebook like 2 months worth of backlog of DJs. Don't envy that, but yeah, fuck time zones.
So you were saying how like you kind of meld a lot more with the European crowd?
Yes, it's basically Europeans and Australians. They kind of always matched my vibe, really, with the kind of music I'm listening to, the kind of energy I'm going for. In fact, one of my favorite scenes was actually the Japanese crowd. Back in the day, maybe 2021, I think, is when I first discovered them. Quite long ago, back when I was unemployed and could afford to stay up from 1 to 4 in the morning raving with them before passing out. Then I got employed and I wasn't able to go back there again, but I still have very fond memories.
So do you find
Damn.
so out of all of that, like especially with your style of music, hard style, drum and bass, hardcore, stuff like that, do you resonate more with the Europeans? I mean, I feel like, I mean, I don't know too much about the Japanese DJs outside of them performing and me finding some time to wake up early in the morning to watch them perform. But I would assume there's, I mean, and even Australian DJs, I don't know too many Australian DJs, but like, is there a really true difference between genre performing in here?
Definitely. Those crazy Europeans will go like 200 BPM. That's just another day of the week. This thing sounds like your microwave malfunctioning. Yeah, that's music. I can dance to it, and I love that chaotic energy. Americans, they dance too slow, I reckon. I mean, I can throw a headbang to dubstep, but then my head starts to hurt with this heavy headset on after a while, and I have to stop. But it's just different tastes and how different genres have taken over different scenes. I'm always gonna be a raver girl, happy hardcore raver, and with of course an equal love for the harder genres of the hard dance music spectrum. But I tend to orientate where those genres are popular. So that's Australia, Japan, and I guess European area, and to an extent some of Southeast Asia, because there's some great Southeast Asian DJs as well, especially Singapore, well, in the Singapore area.
You know, it's kind of funny enough that like this year and last year, I've only got to know one Australian DJ producer remixer that actually last year he came out to the Vegas meetup, and it was his first time in America and his first time performing in America, the first time in Las Vegas. And I remember like talking to him and I was just like, "So, how was the flight?" And he was just like, "Dude, it's like 21 hours." And I'm like, "So what did you do on the flight?" He's just like, "I just watched many movies. I don't like that flight. It's too chaotic." But outside of just understanding just Australia, like I don't know too much about what type of a genre that they're enjoying, if they are enjoying harder music or if they're taking influence from other things. Like again, like you were saying, Japanese culture, but like even just kind of relying on New Zealand and intact and too like that. How are you finding more examples of your stylings, or are you finding a lot of people in New Zealand also kind of leaning into that genre stylings too?
With the genres I played, there was definitely the budding of a scene for, I guess, hardstyle. And the way I noticed that is back when I went to DEF CON twice, which is a big hardstyle, hard dance festival in the Netherlands. The first time I went, I only ever met one Kiwi, like on one day, and I was basically the only Kiwi anywhere. The next time I went, I met like a big group of them. And I've also started to see the odd when I'm the rarest time I'm on like Instagram or Facebook, I see the rare instance of a post saying, "Hey, I recognize a couple of the DJs," but really in New Zealand, more bass music and D&B are the kings here.
Now, when you're saying Kiwi,
The
you're
talk about
saying like New Zealanders are called Kiwis?
yes, we're called Kiwis. That's
Is it
just
just
what we've
because the
always been
animals
called.
over there, or is that where like the
Well, I
fruit's
guess
coming from?
well, the fruit was named after the animal. That's why we call kiwi fruit in New Zealand. But you guys dropped the fruit part because I'm not sure you know what that flightless
I
bird is
mean,
called. Not all of
like
you guys do.
to be fair, listen, I live in Florida. We have Florida Man, and Florida Man does some weird stuff from time to time, and it wouldn't
Ah,
surprise me. Like
yes.
we just learned that you can eat a kiwi whole, and you don't have to just throw away the skin. You could just eat the skin. But now that you're saying that the kiwi bird is influenced for the kiwi fruit, put two and two
Yeah.
together, somebody's bound to try to eat a kiwi like an actual bird.
Well, that's a big criminal offense. You can't do that. They're a protected species. But I mean, I can understand the confusion. I mean, they're both brown, they're both fuzzy, but I don't think your kiwi fruit is making demonic shrieks in the night.
I also
So
don't think kiwi birds are green inside either. So
no, they're not. But I'll tell you, when it comes to like eating a kiwi fruit, don't the green ones. I don't like eating the skin of those. The golden ones are so much better. And it was kind of amusing. I remember going to the Netherlands. I went to the supermarket and there was like New Zealand kiwi fruit there. And I was like, oh,
hopefully it
damn.
wasn't like terribly expensive. I mean, I think I've only seen one golden
To
kiwi.
be honest, in New Zealand, we have a really bullshit government who makes us like have to buy kiwi fruit at export prices, so we pay about the same. We don't get a discount unless you happen to work on a kiwi fruit orchard or know a guy.
I feel like that's gonna be like the number one thing if I get off the plane in New Zealand. I'm sorry, I'm getting all choked up because I'm just thinking about it. But
Oh
like,
my god! Now talking about Kiwi things, I've noticed Kawa has brought up what kind of DJ deck I have. There's another thing they make fun of is my accent. So, especially between the E and the I sound. So when I'm like saying I'm DJing on my DJ deck, a lot of people are not hearing a DJ deck as an equipment, what you put your barbecue on, maybe. They're hearing dick for whatever reason. So now there's a running joke that I talk about my DJ equipment too much.
oh, fair enough, or that it's
Oh no,
fuzzy,
no! I
or
mean, there's like some old school YouTube videos. I mean, like this YouTube video called New Zealand Dick Sealing, which is a big running joke about our accent and how we sound like we're saying dick all the time.
is it slightly offensive if somebody tried to like replicate your accent? Because I feel like in the Americas we talk with a British accent sometimes, and even the
Uh,
Brits are just like, oh, that's cheeky. Go ahead and do that, you know.
oh no, it's fine. I mean, the Australians do it to us all the time, so I mean, it's no biggie.
But most of your mods are here to talk about your dick.
I would hope not. We have a don't fuck my mods policy here.
That's fair enough. Yeah, there's only so much promotion that you actually can get.
Yeah, there's only so much promotion you can get, guys. I'm sorry.
That's funny. That's very funny. I'm sure a lot of people are going to start asking you about that. But let's talk a little bit more about.
Kawa.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
See, that's
No. Kawa just rises up and gets with my community members. Don't worry about them.
Oh, that's fair enough. That's what
They're
they're doing.
funny.
They're here to coax you on. Yeah. But I want to get to know a little bit more about what you think about the America side when it does come to hardstyle and drum and bass and stuff. How you were saying that most Americans don't know how to dance to that, and like it's fun to think about and it's fun to bring up because there are a whole bunch of between either the East Coast or the West Coast of the Americas. We're still trying to understand it ourselves, and we're still trying to understand like how to take this information, because like if you were to go to a club or a bar, it's more than likely going to be house or tech house, sometimes drum and bass, but they have to be really specific and really niche when it comes to where they're performing that sort of stuff. So in your eyes, like where are you kind of seeing it? Because obviously you're kind of dabbling like right in the middle of everything between like Europe culture, Japan, and then the States.
Yeah. So I know there's various. I think it almost depends. It's almost state by state, from my understanding of what's the most popular. I know that like bass music is really big, and I'm sure house is too. I mean, house is popular everywhere, but I kind of fall asleep to house. That's kind of how my brain works. It's a little slow for me. It was great when I was learning to start DJ because it was nice and slow and was great for beat matching practice. But these days, it's a bit slow. I'm admittedly I'm more Gen Z brained. I like loud, funny noises. I like not really knowing what's going to happen next, but I also do like. I guess I like high energy melodic, and I don't think the energy levels of the house scene is quite where I'd want it. Like maybe like it was dabbling in that kind of energy I was looking for when there was like complextro, like in I guess Moonbcore, when they were experimenting around post Amelia Skrillex area back like 2011 to 2014ish. But these days I am definitely looking for harder stuff. But admittedly, I have not too much experience outside of VRChat clubs, like what people are listening to. I haven't exactly gone to too many. Well, I haven't gone to any clubs in America in my times visiting. So I'd almost be curious to see like what states are into.
I promise you will be disappointed because the hard style isn't as crazy as it is.
No,
it could be not. In VRChat.
I mean, they at least have Lil Texas. I'll give them that. But then, they only have Lil Texas.
So, a complicated question with a complicated answer, and how you were saying that, like, there has always been for the beginner DJ to say that 128 is comfortable. It is a beginner BPM to start with. But for you were like, no, I want something fast. I want something crunchy. I want something a little bit more complex. In your opinion, where should someone start?
I honestly think 128 is the perfect starting point. It's actually where I learnt first back when I was a youngling, when I was 15, back in like 2014, when I first tried DJing for the first time. It's a great start because you're not necessarily starting off learning on the genre that you'll eventually get into. But it's just great for like learning to listen for when something sounds in time and when something doesn't. Because that gets harder and harder the faster and more distorted music that you play. So starting off slow and working your way up, like you don't immediately go like, I want to run a marathon. So you immediately run a marathon. No, you warm up to it. It's the same. In my opinion, it's the same way for DJing. You don't try and like DJ like pro level and go insane with all the effects. You start off with the very basics at a nice, comfortable BPM, and you work your way up towards your target genre.
I feel like all of that is very important, especially because, again, it's still fairly early within not only just this year, but having a bunch of new DJs come in, or even people. I got to come up with a better way of explaining the term peer pressure. It's not a negative peer pressure, but it's a positive of like your friends are encouraging you to want to DJ. And most of the time, like if you, let's just say you join into a drum and bass community and you're like, oh, I really love this music, and you have enough of the music that you could attempt to try to DJ it yourself. But I feel like, again, even when you're doing those transitions or hitting those markers, it's fast. So it's like you kind of have to, make sure that you're focused, in tune, making sure quantize is on, and you could do beat matching, I guess, if you chose that. But obviously that everybody has to have their first step somewhere, and especially in here, maybe a slower tempo does make a difference a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could be a really old-fashioned, You can call me old, outdated, but I think every DJ should learn how to properly beat match by ear. And a lot of it is because a lot of songs, like, they're fine, but if they change tempo, your beat grid starts to not line up in the end, and you can't use the magical sync button. And typically, like, even when I'm analyzing tracks, they won't always analyze correctly, so I'm going to have to manually fix the beat grids myself, and sometimes even when I fix them, I'm slightly out. So it's important to be able to like detect with your headphones in your ear, hey, this track is slightly out from this other track by a certain amount, and being able to adjust it accordingly.
I mean, that's always very helpful too, especially
it's like. I mean, if your chainsaw, you only use a chainsaw to cut down a tree, but if your chainsaw breaks down and you want to also know how to use your axe, it's just being more versatile and being able to combat different problems as they arise. Because they will happen. You might accidentally knock a jog wheel and all that, or a track unexpectedly changes tempo. Like, the best advice I give for new DJs on how to practice, even when they don't have gear, is to listen to your music, because as a DJ, you should never be surprised. You should never be surprised about where a song is going. And even though there is no way I'm going to remember my 8,000 song library, I can usually go to a song, remember, oh yeah, at this point it does this, and being able to, I guess, accordingly mix out of it.
Yeah, knowing your knowing your library is super important, but also kind of knowing about what those buttons do. And I feel like there is a slight stigma of just like, oh, don't use the beat sync. Oh, don't use quantize. Oh, don't do this, do that. I mean, use it, try to figure it out, and learn it. I think that's one of the key things in here. From time to time, I even come in to just like relax and listen to some DJs. But I've been hearing from the community far too much that like they're nervous to tell some DJs that are performing that they need better practice, or they're kind of just using tools that they haven't used before during a performance. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, you have to kind of have to practice a little bit about that. But of course, we're going to be talking a lot about DJing here with Chrysaora on VRCDJLIVE. But one of the most fascinating things that we're definitely going to be diving a lot into on the show today is that you're kind of juggling all sorts of different things. You got the DJing thing going on. You're a dancer. I mean, obviously, we do see on your chest you have the ministry promotions there, which is super cool. We're going to be able to break that down a little bit better too. But you also kind of want to dive into VTubing and content creation and doing influencing. And when we were talking a little bit about it before stream, you were mentioning to me that it's like you're passionate to be able to bring all three of those things together, which is so unique, because I feel like most of the time, you DJ first, or your content creation first, or your dancer first, and then you kind of move into all these different facets. Where is it kind of leading into in 2026? Are you still trying to do that juggling act, or are you going to be doing kind of like a little bit more of a focus this year?
It's always a bit of a juggling act, like trying to balance all three. A lot of it was the goal of making a more entertaining and engaging stream, because I think the hardest thing about being a DJ streamer is typically it comes with a dead chat, as you're a second monitor streamer. People put you on while they play games, or listen to the music, or do housework, or drive their truck, as in some of my community, so they can't comment as much. So sometimes it can be a little bit motivating if you got like a slightly less active chat. So it's always like trying to balance. Like, I want that audience, I appreciate them, but I'm also saying, like, can I pull in some people might see me as the like primary focus. So by combining DJing and I guess dancing, trying to be a bit more entertaining, trying to interact with my camera more while I'm there. So it's like I've got chat here with me. They aren't just like sitting statically like on the dance floor looking at me. No, they're right up here with me with the DJ decks, dancing around with me and having a good time. Which is why I do a lot of hand cam stuff. The other factor is really that I can't stand still. I need to keep moving. I need to keep moving my ass. I feel like if a DJ is being too static on stage, why are they expecting the audience to dance when they're not even dancing themselves? Like, I feel like I need to be able to dance to my own music in order to play it. I mean, of course, if you're bound to a wheelchair or you're like disabled, then yeah, of course you get a pass. But I've got an ass that works, so I'm gonna move it.
So let me ask you this, because again, lots of people think a lot about this. I mean, VRChat's not a very good example of this, because as we've already kind of known, that you can be a DJ on desktop, you could be a DJ just on mobile or whatever you want to do, a full body, not full body, jumping around and stuff like that. Should DJs in VRChat currently start focusing more on doing some more dancing or crowd interaction while they're performing?
Back in the day, crowd interaction was almost impossible because we had to basically use Twitch, and Twitch had like a 45-second latency depending on what you were doing in DJing compared to what you're doing in VR. Now that we've got like tools for VRCDJLIVE, with I guess a lot lower latency, like I think like 1 or 2 seconds. I think I can't remember the last time I did some metrics on this. But I guess you can do more because you want to engage the crowd. Of course, if you're a desktop DJ, it's kind of like, okay, I can't dance now. What can I do? I can maybe focus on focus on making some more complex mixing, because I find I do have a debuff when I'm in VR that it's a bit harder to do more complex transitions because I've got this massive headset strapped to my face.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, technically, like, when I'm having to DJ in desktop mode, I focus on a more technical set I guess it's where I get to show off. But like when I'm VR and I'm like a bit less restricted on what I can do musically, I substitute it with like putting on a bit of a show, like that thing all happy, jumping around, like giving hearts to the crowd, and just making sure that everyone's feeling involved, because it can be a bit daunting. Like everyone's a bit shy to like dance, a bit self-conscious, but it's like you're kind of like encouraging them to like say, hey, you're looking good there. You look amazing.
Yeah, but all of that
amazing.
is kind of a process to learn about entertainment to begin with, right? I mean, if like you have to, I feel like everybody has a little bit of shyness when it comes to either performing in front of people or performing for their first set or performing music that they're not used to. But at the same time, that like depending on what you want to do as far as like a hobby compared to a career, if you want to do festivals, if you want to perform in a much larger venue with a big crowd and stuff like that, you ain't just going to be up on stage doing like, you're not going to just be pushing a button and just standing there, or you're going to want to interact with people and point to them and wave to them, or you got to get those people, those DJs that are up on the decks, like on top of the decks, walking around like kind of like Timmy Trumpet or something like that.
Oh, Timmy Trumpet, massive inspiration for mine for their, I guess, presence on the stage. Absolutely love watching them perform. Like, just even if they are being a bit over the top at times. Like, I mean, I'm over the top. I can't stop yapping sometimes, but mainly on my streams, because another thing about my streams is there's one of my few times I get to, I guess, interact with everyone. So like, because I can be busy and like everyone's at work and I don't usually get to talk to my European friends, so my streaming in a way gives me the opportunity to basically hang out with everyone, which is why I try to help encourage people to like say hi in my chat, because I do want to talk with you. I'm not just here to DJ, I'm here to hang out.
There you go. And again,
and that's, I guess, the main difference. Yeah, that's the main difference between my Twitch streams and my, I guess, DJ events in VRC when I'm booked, because that's when I'm more focused on music. But when it's my DJ streams, it's more, I guess, casual. And at the same time, my DJ stream started because it was me starting to record my practice sessions when I was practicing to DJ, I was like, well, might as well stream it. And that eventually evolved into this whole regular Twitch thing.
But all of that kind of makes sense, though. I mean, obviously, when we do have a lot of performers in here and they DJ, and I feel like there is that kind of a stigma of like, does the crowd enjoy little bits of conversation? Do they enjoy a little bit of interaction during a set, or do you just kind of go up and do the thing? And there have been a ton of questions already, and we'll probably hit them a little bit later on too, of just that too. Is just like during. I'm trying to see if I could say this correctly, but there are a lot of different venues and a lot of places nowadays that even if you go to a regular club or a regular bar, you kind of have to feel the crowd to see how often you can talk or how often you could do birthday shout outs. I even went to an experience a month ago where the guy ended up talking every second song, every third song or something like that, just trying to like hype and stuff. And the crowd just wasn't having it. And even the club owner was like, all right, you're only granted like 1 or 2 birthday shout outs because everybody's out for their birthday. Everybody's partying for their birthday and all that sort of stuff. But even in VRChat too, I feel like there's a whole group of people that are either like they're for that because they like that interactive experience, or you'll have venues where you just can't talk at all and you're just there for the music. But it kind of begs the question of, especially this year, are you going to see the DJ? Are you going to hear the vibe that they're bringing, kind of a thing?
It really depends on the club I'm going to and like what the event is, because I definitely still go based on what DJs are playing, given I've been around it all and kind of understand the kind of sound I can predict from them. Like there are definitely DJs I'll go for, but just because I like the music they play. But there are definitely also DJs I go for because I like their stage presence. Might not fully like the music, but there are definitely DJs I've gone to. But even if it's a genre I don't fully usually listen to, I go because I actually enjoy the DJ's presence with the crowd. And I think that's important skill. It's also, as a DJ, it's also good to be able to read a crowd, understand what they are into and what they're not into. So maybe do some market research, because there's 2 main clubs that I end up DJing for. Like the standard raves and also they're like drinking parties, and they have very different vibes. Very different kind of audience, like, because there are times where I'm like DJing and, to be honest, it's like you're just the background music to a party. You aren't the primary focus compared to raves where you typically are. But as a raver myself, I am a yapper. I yap and rave. It even extends to some of my stage dancing I do. I do hot mic a lot because I think it helps the time go quicker and it's kind of amusing.
I feel like most of the time we have to hear these conversations too, because when people do come in to perform, I feel like they kind of have to lean into a specific norm, but at the same time, you want to feel comfortable on how you approach a lot of your plan of attack when you do perform, whether or not you talk a lot or you just perform to perform. Speaking about your plan of attack, chat's been saying that you guys do squats when you're doing stuff?
I have to do squats. The whole point, the thing that my streams help with is my fitness. So one of the easiest things you can do as a streamer, especially a VRChat one, is I'll squat on stream. Yeah, you want to see me work my butt. I know what you're like, chat.
See, there's a problem between them asking you to do squats and then they have to do squats too. So I would only assume that your chatters are buff.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, no, I expect them to do as many squats as I'm doing. In fact, back in the day, I used to even do push-ups on stream. I mean, I still do push-ups in my own time, but I keep injuring my wrists while doing them, and kind of a bit more of a hassle to be able to like get on the floor. And I also broke a headset. Well, I didn't like fully like write the headset off, but I did crack one of the lenses when I face planted while pushing up in VR, so gotta be a bit more careful there.
I mean, you would think that you would need your arms and your hands to do the DJing, so you don't want to fracture them or break them while you're kind of doing the push-ups.
No. So I've tried to roll back and just keep it simple. Also, now the fact I'm on my Quest 3 and this thing doesn't really handle squid as well as my older Vive Pro, I do have to tone it a bit back on the dancing, at least while it's still summer here. In the winter, I usually break out of hibernation, and that's where I end up doing, I guess, more stage dancing events and stuff. But while in the summer, I do have to keep it nice and casual because no one has thought of inventing a sweat-proof headset yet.
Honestly, though, and I feel like all of us are gross. That's right. I said it. We're all gross because even like I have an index and I've got the cushion here that I know that I need to like wash it and it's a little stinky, but like we're all gross like that, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to be gross. It's okay, chat. It's VRCDJLIVE with DJ Chrysaora, and I want to be able to kind of go back in time a bit, and I know during the show we do kind of bring it back of like how you even got involved in VR, but I feel like the DJing happened even before VR, did it not?
Yep, that's correct. I started learning in 2014, so that's a long time ago. That means this year I will have been a DJ for 12 years, which is that makes me feel really old very quickly. So back in the day, I used to learn. I think I like found it like one of those like community events things. So having like this community event, where they had a bunch of like clubs from the local community come in to like promote what they were doing, and one of them was this club for youth where you could either learn yoga or DJing. That's just the two main things they did. I didn't actually end up trying the broga. It was like yoga for men because it was like they were, I guess, helping out some of the troubled male youth by, hey, let's do a yoga class as a thing. But no, I chose the DJing academy. So I basically would do DJing lessons for about 6 months before I got my own little wee baby controller to practice on from home. And for the longest time, I was only ever really DJing at kind of like birthday parties for my friends or just like get-togethers that would do in our local church hall. But of course, the big problem with that is the music that I liked and the music that everyone else in my friend group liked was very different. So I had the choice of either DJing what they liked and not enjoy it, or DJ what I liked and they not enjoying it, which is always a bit of a big contrast for me. I also did a small stint as a wedding DJ, which I hope I never have to do again because holy shit.
Why is that?
So, wedding drunk 40-year-old single mothers are the absolute worst when it comes to song requests.
Oh man. I don't wish that on anybody, to be honest. I was a wedding DJ for a short period of time, and like there are moments where I'm like, the money is fine, but I really don't want to be here.
Oh no, not at all. And then you have to like you have to like be combing your library to get rid of every swear word possible, and it's too much work. It's not worth the effort.
So outside of the you were saying the DJ academies, what kind of experiences or events did they hold that like helped you perform better or kind of help you with crowd interaction and stuff like that?
Unfortunately, there was really nothing to help me with the crowd interaction part. A lot of the DJs that eventually got out there would end up DJing for this one club in town, but I was too young at the time. I think I missed my prime. Well, I was a bit late by a couple of years. When I started, like, they phased out the group about the age that I might have joined us, and also I was DJing a completely different genre. I believe it was like a house club, and you know what I said about house, it makes me fall asleep. So I don't think that was ever to work out. But they did occasionally have like annual DJing competitions for new talent. So they had like brackets of like less than a year's experience, 1 to 2 years, and 2-year plus. And that was a big test for me. I think I came like second in my heat or whatever, but it was still like a good way to like, hey, this is the first time I've actually had to plan a set and like design something. And back in the day, I was DJing on CDs of all things. So this was just before, just as USB sticks were coming into fashion. which also makes me feel old now because now I remember a time where I could only fit 12 songs on a CD and I'd have to like carry my bag full of CDs everywhere.
Yeah, but there's a difference
Uh,
between like you explaining how it was back in the day or just embracing the new technology. Because like you could be a grumpy old dude and be like, back in my day, I did this, and you guys will never know. Or you could be the grumpy old dude now, where you're just like, I don't understand USBs. Technology's strange.
I mean, USBs have been a saving grace for me. I mean, I can fit so much stuff on them, but now maybe I've got too much stuff on my USB. I need to I need to get around to breaking down my how many songs is it now? 1,800 song happy hardcore playlist because it's getting a bit of a chore to scroll through it. Um, yeah, but no, I always try to embrace new technology to the best of my ability, especially with the new features coming out on new DJ equipment. Because I'm not gonna I don't want to be the guy who constantly resists change, but also knowing that I can do things the old-fashioned way if it comes to it.
Mm. Speaking about technology, obviously, I really want to be able to break down. I would only assume that you were a gamer before VRChat, or how did you even stumble across VRChat?
Watching videos on YouTube when I was bored at uni. I think one of the big YouTubers I watched was Jameski. This was like all the time when we had all of the weird deviant art rips. We had all of the Ugandan knuckles. I remember those memes quite fondly. So I eventually, once I got a VR capable PC, I booted it up for the first time, and I've been trapped here ever since. So but it's kind of wild thinking now that I'm like almost 5 years into employed life, yet I started when I was in my second year of university.
So even coming in here, even that early on, and again, I feel like with every year we do mention these nostalgic memes that thankfully have buried the hatchet. Like we're kind of done with it. It's very rare that anybody comes in and is a Uganda knuckle, or even have to endure those memes. But like, I would only assume that you wanted to come in and either socialize or you were looking to try to chase the memes down. DJing wasn't a kind of a thing when you first came in here.
When I first came in here, I was definitely unaware of the DJ scene. I came in really because I needed people to talk to because I was quite isolated at university, given my busy schedule. Um, so it was a way for me to make new connections and new friends. And it really, I guess, blossomed from there. In fact, I was back in the day where it was more of a role play game. Like people would get on there and they'll pretend to be characters. So you had all these VR families spawning everywhere. Because I mean, back then there were less games. The worlds were a lot more simple. There was less things you could do. So it meant that there was, I guess, a lot more. You just kind of had to make things up and make things happen.
I like how you refer to them as
So
families because that kind of boiled it down to of it like, oh, I have a little sister, or I've got a brother, or I've a child. These are like my 5 children. This is
I
my wife.
yeah, well, I mean, it usually starts off, you have like mutes, and you're like, I'm going to adopt this mute because I'm an extrovert adopting an introvert mute. And I'm like, okay, now I'm the VR mother. Okay, I need a father figure in their life. And that usually turns out to the person that you end up dating for a year before having a very toxic breakup, which breaks up the entire friend group. But that's rushing things, but that's usually how it starts. And then you have friends that's like, hey, do you want to be my uncle? And like, yeah, sure, okay, where's the auntie? And that's really how they start. And like, I know they've got really bad stigma now, but back in the day where VR was an expensive thing and most of the people playing VRC as a result were adults, it wasn't really as big of a deal.
I'm honestly really glad that we're still not in that kind of era. I mean, I remember it being a thing, but it was more of a play thing comparable to even
No.
just DJing now. But tell us a little bit about the first couple of instances that you joined with the DJing. How did you even learn about the DJing? Was it still through YouTube, or did you hear it from somebody, or?
I guess after it would have been after I had got half body and a VR equipment for the first time. I stumbled across this world called Dance Dance VR that were advertising they were having live DJing events every Wednesday and Saturday, which they had posted up in their world. So eventually, one of the days, I joined one of those events and met a bunch of people, and I think I only really saw the spark getting involved, I think, on the first New Year's party that I attended. I think that was in the New Year's coming from 2018 to 2019. No, 2019. Oh my god, I can't even say dates correctly this morning.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, a long time ago. My memory's getting a little shoddy. But I think from there I started really getting involved, and eventually I was like, hang on, I've got my own DJ equipment. Maybe I could try this. Now, back in the day, note that I was very young and very immature at the time. I heard a person DJ, and they were DJing terribly. Like, they had learned none of the basics. And I'm like, well, if they can DJ, so can I. And I mean, I'm growing up now, and I thought that was toxic, but we're all good now, and I actually helped him with learning beat matching as well along the line. But it's like I used to think oh no, I thought it'd be like club stigma, oh, you have to have lots of practice and you have to try out and you might not get accepted. And I used to always have that stigma. Actually, the bar was, I guess, they'll basically say no, they were more open to letting anyone try. And I think I really now appreciate that a lot more than I used to, because I thought I used to and I spent all this time learning to DJ. I like it though, and that was kind of a hard thing for me to snap out of as a youngling, thinking oh, I had to do all of this training, I had to go through hoops, and yet Jimmy, who is maybe touched a DJ deck once in their life, gets to have a shot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's complicated too, especially because even early on, it kind of just seemed like, hey, you DJ, let's get you in here and we can put together an event. But nowadays it is just oversaturated that you have to go through, you actually have to jump through a lot more hoops just to get up on a lineup, or build trust with a community, or even get to know all the communities, or even maybe some of the top DJs and kind of ask them questions about stuff. This show, the fact that we get to have DJs in here, we get to talk to those DJs and then get to kind of figure out what you're doing. But very good question in chat. When it came down to family vibes and coming in and role playing early on before the DJing, how did you get on with your role playing? Were you a mute along with the mutes, or how did you start?
When I first started DJing, one of the things I wanted to learn to do was to talk more, because I was born with dyslexia, which also affects my pronunciation and my ability to speak. So I wanted from the get-go to practice and getting way more comfortable speaking to people. So as a result, I made my mission to never really be a mute. Which is probably why now I can't stop yapping and potentially talk too much. But I believe we just it was kind of one of those things when you stumble across your friends group, it's usually by accident. And the way I discovered them is, I think I was in a pug back in the day, and someone came in with a crash avatar and started forcing us to watch League of Legends porn, and we managed to escape through a portal. And then the people who escaped kind of bonded together, and we became our first family. So yes, one of my first experience in VR was dealing with a malicious crasher. Forcing me to.
I was gonna say that. We don't miss those days at all. I mean, I'm sure it could happen, but with the easy anti-cheat.
Remember the days when you couldn't block any avatars whatsoever,
or you had to log off of VR just to put in a report. You had to go on the website.
Yeah, I put it in forward, or I had to do this ridiculous T pose every time I changed avatars, or
what
else? Over back when we basically didn't have a proper camera.
So people,
Or you can remember worlds you went to, and you had to like just remember off the top of the head. Oh, what world was I at last? And you would have to go search it up, and then you'd forget about it, and then you'd never see that world again.
So people in here can't complain right now, right? I feel like everything
You
is
know,
still kind of okay.
they're having it. They're living the fucking luxury right now.
Speaking about kind of luxury comparable to like even when we were first getting in here to perform and you were learning and more DJs started coming in, where do you see the state of DJing in here currently? Do you think that we have too many DJs? Do you think we don't have enough? Do you think it's just it's popular because of an abundance?
I think we've long passed the post-COVID boom now, as in these days I don't see this like massive rush of clubs opening, because I remember after like COVID hit and everyone flooded in and everyone found out about the scene, that we were having like these new VRChat clubs spawning left, right and center, and these days I'm more likely to hear about a club closing its doors than a new club opening. I think a lot of it's just like as the niche has shifted and that like it's kind of become mainstay. Like we've now got like big name clubs like I guess Shelter, Leafer, I guess in a way the Boat, like clubs that constantly have a full instance and a very long queue. These days that we're kind of at I guess an equilibrium. Where it's kind of like all evened out. Um, there's definitely a lot of DJs. I usually make the joke that now everyone and their grandma is a DJ in this game. Mainly because there's no longer this huge high bar. I mean, equipment's very affordable. It's very easy to go out and buy a very cheap controller. And I even hear about some people who DJ that don't even own DJ equipment. They just somehow use their mouse, which, I mean, I feel is a little limiting. I would not wish trying to DJ off a laptop only on anyone, especially as how restrictive it is. It's like trying to DJ with one hand just doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, not just one hand, one finger.
But
It's not.
Go ahead.
But I guess like I'm kind of happy with the state it is now. Like back in the day, there wasn't many DJs, so I could just DJ wherever I wanted, and because people knew I was a DJ, I could always just get bookings. These days, you have to focus a lot more on your own brand, because there's a lot of DJs to go around, and everyone needs a fair turn DJing at various clubs. So you don't get to DJ as often as I would have previously. Previously, like without even trying, I might have got booked maybe twice a week. These days, if you don't actually put an effort, you might not even get booked once a month. So it was always my goal to create a community that was independent of clubs. Like I didn't want people going to clubs, seeing me just because they haven't been in the club I was in. I wanted to have my own, I guess, organic audience. And part of that was so I could also support smaller clubs who might not have a big crowd. I can say, hey, guys, we're going to play at this club today. Let's go check them out together and perform a set for them. And also in the way promote them by sending my community over there.
That's super important too, especially again, like there's so many different avenues that you can take in here, especially when you are starting off, and there are a lot of new DJs that are kind of hesitant to just be like, you know what, we're gonna pop up somewhere, we're gonna get just a couple of people to come in. But hey, if you perform and you can kind of get rid of those blahs of like, oh, how many people can I perform in front of? I think a lot of new DJs that come in here and they expect greatness to just happen. You know, they expect to just go play Shelter or Tube or you know, some of these much larger clubs. But obviously it does take a little bit of skill. It takes a little bit more promotion, takes a little bit more oomph and a little bit involvement in there. And that's kind of what we try to break down here on VRCDJ Live. Of course, we're here with Chrysaora and just talking a lot about DJing stuff. And I wanted to be able to bring up the whole beginner DJ thing too. And I know earlier on I mentioned it. I didn't want to say too much about it because I just learned about it 2 days ago and I still can't handle it. I'm still low key like upset about it. But I learned 2 days ago that the Backpack Kid from like Fortnite, he's a DJ now. He's like a tour. He's not like, he says touring DJ, but he tours like bars but he's still wearing a backpack and he's still doing the floss. Like I think one of the videos was him like, oh, I treated the crowd at the end of my set by jumping on top of a table and doing my floss move that I literally did like 10 years ago. And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, dude, are you kidding me? Like Backpack Kid. Now he's DJ Backpack. Would you believe that? And just kind of coming up, and again, it's still early, you know, spring break's going to be coming around, and I feel like everybody's going to get ins and they're going to go and they're going to try to DJ everywhere. And when it comes down to, like you were saying, anybody could legit buy a pretty cheap console. They can start on their laptop. They could literally DJ on their phones now, which is just mind numbing. It seems like there has a calling for this. And even through what I've been kind of going through recently, too, by going to some local bars and local clubs, that I've been seeing the college kids come in and they openly talk about, and I don't want to make it seem like it's a negative thing because, you know, listen, if you have $400, get yourself a Flex 4, as everybody else has had, and it works pretty well for what you need it for. But you got far too many college kids nowadays. And again, Backpack Kid, he's 24 years old. He's practically a college kid. I don't know if he ever went to college. He should bring his backpack to college. But at the same time, like, you know, you got a lot of these kids that are saying that they are confident that they are a bedroom DJ. And that's where they're going to want to start. And a lot of them are trying to get added success further on down the road. It's happening far more than anticipating. So I kind of want your take on that because of the fact that, you know, again, anybody could technically roll up into some sort of a music store, get yourself a Flex 4 or an SB3 as I have. But do you think that far too many people might have access to that, or do you think that they're going to give it a shot and then some of them are just going to flake off?
I think this is a problem. It's not exclusive to DJing. It's exclusive to I guess DC-list celebrities, people who are like becoming TikTok or social media influencers. The whole thing about like I want to be the next big thing. I want to be the next big thing. I want to grow my fame on the internet. I want to get a following, and they'll go through any avenues. And I mean, I guess once flossing gets old, you like look for, okay, what's the next way I'm gonna get a crowd? So I guess they grew up knowing the flossing memes, so that audience I can maybe, I guess, promote for. Oh my god, these damn Quest 3 controls. Anyway, so it's like just expecting fame, fortune, just trying to sell yourself out. In a way that's like one of the evils of like social media. I mean, it's like forcing you to like you're a slave to the algorithm, and if this is what the trend's doing right now, I have to adapt to the trend or you die. Like, in the same way I feel that pressure on Twitch, like, I need to dress provocatively because I want to increase clicks on my video because this record box, the Beatport music bill isn't gonna pay itself. And also covering costs of equipment. So I also have to feel pressure to, I guess, interact with my audience maybe a bit more provocatively than I otherwise would. Just because don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy looking hot, sexy, and confident while I DJ. But it's just like one of those things that I had to be aware of in my brain. Like, okay, what's going to click? What's going to get people to be introduced to my stream? And hoping that they stay for the music. Because a lot of the time, they'll click on my stream, they'll hear my voice, or they'll hear my music and be like, nope, this isn't for me. But quite a few times, you'll get people randomly clicking on my stream, and they'll stay. And so it's all about like just having to cast that net. As for people who want to learn to DJ, I don't think I should stop them, but it's also more just comes to like their character. Like, what are they gonna use this influence for? Like, because they are an influencer, they're gonna have an impression. They are a role model for the audience. So if they're gonna be a shit cunt, then that's a problem. But that's always been a problem. I mean, I'm not sure, like, especially back in the day, celebrities used to be a lot more untouchable than they are now. Like back in the day, celebrities were like, oh, in Hollywood, and they'll like cut off from the general public. But now it's just Jimmy in their bedroom making funny videos. And they've got a lot more audience connection. They're becoming Twitch streamers where on a daily basis they are directly live interacting with the audience, which is just something that a lot of celebrities never did or had to do. So I think with that nature of like when I guess people are becoming close to the audience are seeing the true real character of them, which is so much easier to hide if you're a celebrity hidden off in a mansion or an A-tier DJ that never like interacts with their audience compared to someone who's basically talking to them daily.
Do you think that's going to be the breaking point when it comes to beginner DJs in here? Because while I feel like I want to give beginner DJs maybe 2 months. They get 2 months. They get to figure out whether or not they want to stream the music, like you were saying, like having a Beatport account, SoundCloud tied into your record box or something. And then comparable to that, to coming in here actually performing. It's we don't see it so often, but some of the videos that we do see of DJs in here, they're swaying, they're bopping, they're doing something. But I feel like they got to do a little bit more interaction. It gets tiring, that's for sure. I mean, if you're going to be a dancer or an influencer in here, you have to kind of literally shake it up a bit. You can't just be standing around. But do you think that's kind of where people draw the line when it comes to starting off in here?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to follow your passion, you need to full send it. There's like people want to like slowly dip your toes. No, jump right in. But of course, don't go too quickly. Don't try and buy the latest, greatest $4,000 controller, because I'll be real with you. I use like maybe 20% of it 80% of the time. So there's like 80% of my controller that I barely use. Like, there's so much functionality that you just don't need, especially when you're starting out. But I do see the people like falling the problem, like I need to like go overboard. But at the same time, you have to like be confident in yourself, believe in yourself. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can start up that live stream. And don't expect things to jump off. In fact, the best way I found was networking by making friends with other streamers, I guess other colleagues, forming those connections, allowing them to discover you and allowing your ones to discover them. And you basically create like Twitch teams and communities, which really can grow your audience. So I think one of the worst things you can do as a DJ is isolate yourself, like feel like this is not a team effort. You can team up with people and build off each other and in a healthy way and grow a community together, which is what I quite like about the community I have right now with my awesome streamers, which I've actually seen one of them, like Media, who is in my chat, is one of the people that I'm on a Twitch team with, and she occasionally even joins me and dances with me on my streams, which is always something I always wanted to do as a DJ, because I started DJing because I wanted to dance and have fun with my friends. So now I'm basically at that stage. It's almost like I've reached the end goal.
I'm really glad that you're able to kind of bring that up, and I was going to talk a little bit about it a little bit later on, but you did mention that you did put together a group, a small collective called Mythical Bad Bitches, and talk to us a little bit about that and who's a part of it and how you guys help each other with that.
Okay, so Mythical Bad Bitches is a bunch of awesome VRChat streamers. We are a bunch of, like, some of us are DJs and some of us are just dancers, dancing to music. But we all share a similar vibe, and it's a vibe that we want to share across our audiences. We enjoy dancing together, and we will occasionally catch up and collaborate and dance on stream together, which is always fun. Heavily recommend it. But yeah, it's just a community that's grown. I mean, it started off as like there's a couple of us. I think it was me, Valkara, and another streamer called Momo. And we were like, okay, we no longer have a Twitch team. Let's create this Twitch team together and just occasionally dance on each other's streams and promote each other, because we share similar audiences. Like people who like my stream will like their stream. And from there, we were able to basically just grow up an audience that's this keeps getting better, and we occasionally hold like hangouts, and I see a lot of my audience at the various events I play. And honestly, I've even got to meet some of them in real life by going to different, I guess, rave events like DEF CON. I got to meet some people, which is amazing.
I want to touch a little
But
bit upon. Sorry to cut you off there. I want to touch a little bit upon the whole content creation part of it, because I feel like while we are breaking down the idea of DJing and having an entertainment value and having a performance while you're doing the choosing the music, or if you have something pre-planned already, but like content creation on I'll say content creation through VRChat on Twitch has definitely transformed into all sorts of shapes and stylings over the past couple of years. And I feel like even going into content creation this year, or even in 2025 into 26, now I'm thinking about it, 2026, it's just so crazy. And the fact that content creation has kind of shifted away from, I mean, there's still lewd stuff and there's still like suggestive stuff on Twitch, but people are starting to get a little bit more fancier with it by like streaming on TikTok, or introducing maybe Instagram stuff, or again, like in this particular case, between your group of content creators on Twitch as well as your DJ stylings where you're dancing and interacting and stuff like that. Where are you starting to see the shape of the VRChat content going lately?
So I mean, you've got two directions. You've got people who hang out. There's basically dancing and listening to music and just hanging out. Those are the two main ones. Like you got quite a few very talented VRChat dancers, and of course they go into two groups. There's one who like do performance dancing, or the others that do, I guess, more eye candy suggestive dancing. And I mean, it's kind of to be fair, like I mean, suggestivity and like the fact that sex sales has always been a thing in EDM. For instance, like I mean, the Eric Pride's "Cool on Me" music video from 2003. I mean, it's just a bunch of girls doing yoga, right?
Let's like give it 10 more years and we'll bring it back again, right?
Yeah, bring it back, but it's like there's various different niches that people are filling, and to be honest, I don't think I always want to have. I don't necessarily need the whole like 600 viewers each time. I'm quite happy as long as my chat is happy and constant. Like right now, I sit at around 30 to 50 average viewers, and I'm very happy with that amount. It's enough that it's not too overwhelming. I still can actually talk to chat. Chat's not moving too fast where I don't feel like I have that connection with my audience. But yeah, it's just so good to be able to talk to them and like be I guess part of their community. Well, I feel like I guess get to hear them and what they're saying instead of everything being lost in a blur of noise.
Yeah, it's so complicated too, especially for those that are in here and they're performing. Like most of the time, there's so many things going on in their brain while they are performing. Whether it's like, oh, is everybody having a good time? Oh, I don't want to mess up. But I feel like if you do mess up, it's live. You know, like you're doing it live as opposed to like I hit a button on pre-recorded nonsense.
Oh, we've all done that. I've whacked my controller on the play button so many times.
Yeah. And I mean it's super fun too. To just be able to, I don't know. I feel like people have gotten better about that. When it comes to like, oh, it is live, then we're kind of exploring with that. But
yeah, like live right now. One sec, gotta change my headset battery. Give me a moment. Look at live. This is live.
It's a live program. It's VRCDJLIVE, and you know, it's when you're walking around.
Okay, let's attach the new headset battery because it turns my face fan off if it runs out of battery, and I don't want my headset cooking my face.
Yeah, and obviously we don't want you just like mindlessly wandering around the studio, being like, "Where's my head? Where's my face?
Where is it? I can't see."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's live. Anything can happen. But I think it's almost sometimes more genuine. Like, I can have a laugh about it. Like, I guess I have to do a punishment or something if I accidentally stop the music. But you know, happens. It's another one of the things when you've got this massive headset on your face, and sometimes you go a bit overboard.
True. And I mean, obviously, you can always do squats too.
The worst incident I had was definitely the one time we had to cut a stream short because I had spilt water, over my water bottle, and it nearly hit my, I guess my sound system that I have in my room. So I was like, Right, guys, I'm sorry. Gotta go.
Chaotic, that's for sure. It is VRCDJ Live, and it's live, right? We're here with Chrysaora, and we're just I feel like chat has a bunch of questions, but they're just waiting for the opportunity to ask them. But I know that that's kind of the reason for us to have this program to begin with, because let's just say you are performing. Do you let people in while you perform too, or I mean, obviously, if you do an event, obviously there's people there, but like, let's just say you're streaming on Twitch.
Okay, so there's two different streams. One Saturday, my weekend streams I do typically. I open up a group instance when I'm DJing so that if I've got friends who want to join me, they can. But typically on my weekday streams, I keep it relatively closed. I might let in like one of my mods, or if I've got a streamer friend or someone who's close to me who wants to join. Like, of course, my partner is always allowed to join my streams. Likewise, people like media, members of my Twitch team, or streamers that I'm close to are allowed to join. But the usual rule I have is if you join me on one of those streams, you have to dance.
There you go. I feel like
mainly for performance reasons, right? Because streaming uses a lot of bandwidth when I'm trying to run my record box, my streaming software, VRChat all on one machine. And like, if you're gonna contribute resources, you better get moving your ass.
Plus, I mean, it always looks good too. You don't have to be in a regular avatar. You can be in a funny looking avatar.
Don't be a regular. You can be funny. You can be great. I've had people try to scare me while I'm DJing. I've had people dancing in ridiculous avatars. I mean, it all, I guess, adds to the content, but just more like making sure also, because like some people have those really heavy avatars and I tend to freeze up when they like physically load in.
Sure.
I try not to go overboard when I don't have to.
So seeing that we're kind of talking about dancing right now, I want to be able to bring that up a little bit, just because like one of the major things that I feel like most DJs have to do, not even want to do, but have to do when they're in the scene is like continue to test your skills and test yourself to see what can you do, what else can you bring to the community, and what else can you be really skilled at that could help, you know, get you more promotion or be more involved with our community. In this particular case, you like to start dancing. Did dancing ever become something even before DJing happened, or how did that whole passion start with you?
It started long after I learned to DJ for the first time. In fact, I only really got started when I started getting like half body in VR. And a lot of it was simply because I saw other people dancing, and I was like, okay, I want to try. I want to go clubbing, but I also don't want to look like an idiot. So I do remember my first off, like looking up tutorials on YouTube and trying to follow along in my small dormitory room. But of course, as I got dyspraxia, which is fine motor neuron disorder, which means I can't move properly. It's like, what's the best way to describe it? It's physical autism. My joints are a little. They don't move properly, as in I can't really control my fine motor neuron skills well, so that means I can't really type on a keyboard. I can't use my tongue properly to speak certain syllables. And also I couldn't catch a ball until I was like 7 or 8 years old. But it meant that I spent a lot of time just trying the basic dance moves over and over again until I had something where I felt like I could jam out in VR without completely looking ridiculous. But then you learn very quickly that we are raving, we aren't dancing. There's no right or wrong way to rave. We're not gonna get upset at you if you don't hit that scissor kick properly, or you're shuffling really weird. No, that's not. In fact, that's what I've tried to tell people a lot, like they're a bit too shy to dance. I'm like, just flail your arms around. That's
I feel like
that's dancing.
I feel like it's one of the benefits of VRChat, that you can just literally become any avatar and feel comfortable in that avatar. I feel like it's kind of the same way with most women, where they come home and they want to be super comfy, but they also want to be a penguin. So like they'll come home and they'll put on like a penguin onesie and just waddle around the house as this penguin. Not saying that that's their spirit animal to begin with, but like I feel like, well, it's not even just women. I don't know. I feel like guys would want to do that too. If I had a penguin onesie, I'd be wearing it as soon as I get home. But like, you know, when it does come to, you know, I have a Hatsune Miku avatar that I dance in occasionally, just to kind of show off and see how she would wear and how she would, you know, dance around and do all that sort of stuff. But even kind of leaning into that too, like, you know, getting to know some special moves, or you know, for me when I DJ, I tend to hammer. I do this all the time, like with like a
Oh,
hammer
the
move.
hammer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a hammer
classic,
move.
classic. Yeah.
I know I'm a I'm a product of fraternal the frat flick, the frat boy flick, where I'm just like
Oh,
doing like
yeah.
that. That's kind of a weird phrase and a weird thing to do, but um I'm not saying that you need to give us your top 5 of dance moves, but I feel like we need to ask you your top 5 of dance moves.
My top 5. Well, these days, if I'm like dancing to I'm doing a lot of boxing moves.
All right, all right.
I beat up the camera a little.
There you go.
And like, can you mouse properly?
So that's a lot more dance moves than I would have kind of thinking about, but yeah, those work. That's really cool. It's cool that again where you have that tattoo of the ministry on your
Yeah.
chest there.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about your interaction with them, because I know that we've had a lot of dancers come out of ministry, and they also help out with ministry a lot. But now that you were able to tie in your dancing with your DJing to even help out with them, talk to us about that whole process.
So what ministry is, to start off with, is a dancer for hire group. So basically various clubs want go-go dancers, which again are basically to help break the ice on the dance floor by hyping up the crowd. And I guess because, you know, it can be awkward to be the first person starting to dance, so it's kind of like breaking the ice by having people up there already dancing to like interact with the crowd more, especially when you're a DJ. You don't have to worry as much about it. So we get to basically booked out, and we get to play at various different VRChat clubs and festivals, and it's also a great way to just maybe even experience clubs that you wouldn't otherwise normally go to. And that was a good way for me to basically explore the club scene as well, by being one of those go-go dancers. So I got to listen to different DJs play, and maybe even take inspiration from what they were playing while I was dancing, taking notes, what I liked, what I didn't like. Like, I liked that DJ's transition, but I hated the way the DJ was constantly using effects every 5 seconds, and I wanted to disable that for them because, oh my god, it was getting irritating. Sorry, flashback.
So,
but like you also like learn to dance to anything. You learn to dance when things are going wrong. Like if the DJ's like got the worst transitions imaginable, you learn how to, I guess, work around it. Or the vibe's completely off, you learn to you basically learn how to dance adaptively, and as a result, you learn to dance to way more styles than you otherwise would be used to.
you know, it's so refreshing to hear your take on this, especially because obviously on VRCDJLIVE we talk about the DJs, and occasionally we have some VJs in here to talk about visuals. But one of the things that we rarely get an opportunity to talk about is having more of a dancer performer visualization outside of just regular like screen visuals, to add in some more flares. And like there have been several clubs in here that also provide not really a sexy dance but more of a sensual dance, and they implement little like particle effects, or like, you know, those the balls on strings or fans and stuff like that, and really brings a whole nother element to life. And one of the hardest things that I'm going to try to attempt to ask you here is just the fact that, like, from people that are looking from the outside in, from what we do in here, we have to constantly say that, oh, we're doing this as a hobby. Most of those people that are asking what it's like to DJ in virtual reality currently, one of the first questions they always ask is, how much are you making? Because obviously they're trying to make this into a career. They're looking to expand their horizons. And after I keep explaining to everybody that, like, we perform for people around the world, and that's how you're going to be able to get your name out there worldwide, as opposed to just a small area. But more importantly, like, for the DJ side of it, that makes a lot of sense, because you're performing a lot, you're looking for that outreach, and most DJs can relate to other DJs based on, like, if you're going to perform in front of a huge crowd or no crowd, or maybe for a specific event or something like that. But for the people that are looking into VRChat, I don't think that they're thinking too much about the dancers, and they're not thinking too much about, like, the visual aspects of it all. again, last week talking to the professionals, I was showing them I was showing them a video of all the full body dancers that were dancing. The fact that the lighting is all DMX lighting. Well, not all DMX lighting, but some of them are DMX lighting, where you can have a side controller to do it in real time. We're performing in front of people from around the world. And when they see that, they instantly just kind of go to, oh, it's a video game. And I'm just like, kind of, but like the real people, like you could talk to them like real people because they're real people. And same thing kind of goes with like, same thing kind of goes with the dancers, like visually it's impressive, right? To see the dancers up there, they're doing a thing, but we want to continue to find ways to like help promote their existence, be able to explain that it's not just solely the DJs that need to come in here to practice, but like the visuals of the dancers. And I know, again, I know a handful of dancers that also help out with ministry that continue to push that product. And outside of the whole money finance things, we need to continue to kind of show that they are dancing and they're using their skills even when the DJ messes up, even when the DJ has a bad transition. So I want your opinion on this, because obviously this is going to kind of feed the fire to a lot of the dancers out there that want to get a lot more involved, or people within our community that want to get more involved with learning how to do full body dancing. And also too, like, I don't know, we got a bunch of people that are on social media and they're showing videos of their dancing, and sometimes they're just not as confident as they want to be. So where do you kind of see a lot of this heading? I mean, I feel like with the DJs, it has started as a hobby. They want to go professional. How do you think the dancers, how can we keep promoting the dancers while also keeping them in check and saying, hey, you're doing an amazing job?
For the dancers, I mean, firstly, recognizing they exist, is always a good start. Now, a lot of people only think VR dancers, they instantly go to like lap dance clubs and the more, I guess, sexual side of this game, when they think of dancers, where you've got all these amazing dancers on Twitch. In fact, a lot of them are doing very well. For example, Ron, people like Saya Mellon, Half and Half Madam, all of them being able to like basically promote their dancing that way. In the same way, like at events, like even like putting the spotlight on them, like what I used to do as a DJ is when I had like the camera and my stream was up, I would actually set my camera up so I was occasionally looking at the dancers, not just me. So I'd pan the camera over occasionally to the dancers that were dancing to like project them on the big things, like, hey, look at them, look how amazing they're dancing, look how hot their avatar is. But I guess partly it's just like, again, when you're a DJ, like you're wanting to like kind of create this brand, this kind of identity for yourself. And with dancers, you can do exactly the same thing. You can go online, do some funny skits, or do some dances, show off your dance moves on different things, and like say, "Hey, I'm gonna be dancing at for this club, for this DJ. You should come down and like jam out with me." And they can redo it, but at the same for the same reason, you can say like maybe even project in the club. Okay, who are the lovely stage dancers we have here tonight? Because I am on stream, and when I do have a guest on stream, I do get comments in my chat like asking, "Oh, who's that lovely dancer behind you?" And I'm happy to like say them. And if they're a fellow streamer, I typically make sure they're promoted. And likewise, when I'm streaming, I've done a lot of collabs with people who are just dancers as a way of introducing my chats. Like, hey, you like my music? Here's a VRChat dancer I vibe with that I think you're going to enjoy, and like the music that they dance to.
So obviously we're kind of touching upon a lot of different topics here, a lot of different avenues and ways to like integrate yourself into the community, DJing, dancing. Obviously content creation is super, super, super key when it comes to, and I mean, one of the side ones, the ghost ones that we kind of don't talk too much about is networking and being able to go out and see more DJs and communicate with the DJs. And as you were saying too, like all of what you're explaining has a form of networking involvement with the dancing. Like not only are you making stuff, you're dancing with your sets and you're bopping around, but you're also creating content online for people to kind of find the stuff that you're doing. But also, it's the same thing goes with with regular dancing too. It's just like you're going to want to help promote other people and talk to the dancers and talk to more people that want to be a part of that to continue to kind of push that idea. I want to feed into the VTubing part of it, because that's also a big part too, is that some people on the internet, they can agree, they could disagree, they could do whatever they choose with it. But there has been that little niche of like, if you're in VRChat, is it still technically VTubing? I feel like most of us in here, yes. I feel like most of us in here, yes. It's virtual tubing, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But being able to implement your style of VTubing, where do you want it to go? I mean, I know that you're as Chrysaora the DJ, the Nettle DJ. I feel like you want to do a lot more with the VTubing while also dancing and DJing too. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. Of course, DJing is my primary love and my primary goal for this brand. But at the same time, I do want to like explore more, like hang out, maybe even doing like gaming in the future and all that. But it's just more like exploring a brand, even creating maybe lore. But I think it's like this brand I've built up because like everyone likes music and stuff, and like I've found that crowd, and that crowd is slowly growing. But I always want to put a unique twist on it. Like, what is making me unique from all of the other hard style, hard dance UK hardcore DJs? What like makes me recognizable and my own unique twist on it? And my own unique twist is my whole scenital lore and being an underwater jelly and kind of like interacting with it and even playing into that character. I did a lot of drama and I liked a lot of improv comedy growing up, so I do like role playing a lot more in my streams, and that's as I got more confident in my streaming, I've been able to let that side out of me more that I otherwise probably wouldn't have.
When it comes to I'm sorry, I'm just kind of taking a look at my notes here. I'm just trying to figure out. There's so many different things I want to ask you while we're here, and of course, VRCDJLIVE, everyone in chat. I mean, I feel like everybody's just enjoying the content. Everybody's enjoying what you have to say, and just is this kind of normal for your streams where they just kind of they're sitting there just like, oh, we gotta wait to see what Chris is gonna say.
Yeah, occasionally. All the spamming jellyfish emotes.
Yeah, where's your jellyfish emotes, guys? Come on. I thought
no one's triggered a jellyfish mode yet, but we'll see. Like, but where are all the jellyfish emotes? Is my Armada here? Oh, look, there they are.
There's
some. I see them.
Yeah.
There's some. There's some. There's a small amount. Sometimes they're just asleep. This is a weird hour for this is a very abnormal hour for me being alive on something. Usually I am the morning streamer. I am what they're listening to while they're at work. So me being an evening streamer is a little bit of a change because I took the day off work for this. Because I was like, I could do it for a long weekend.
Yeah, and it just kind of either kickstart your weekend or just relax and enjoy the time that you got, and hopefully everyone's hydrating at the same time. But
yeah, you better be hydrating. Hydrate. I'm looking at you.
But like, obviously we're feeding into the future era of trying to understand between VTubing and I wrote down in my notes that you celebrated 5,000 followers on Twitch recently. I think that's what it was.
Yep.
So congratulations on that.
There's a lot of them. It's a little overwhelming that 5,000 people weren't scared off by my content. That's a lot. I mean, now that I realize it, like I've been DJing for 7 years. Well, I've been a Twitch streamer for 7 years, which really starts to make me feel old. Now that I think about it, I really shouldn't think about it too much.
Well, let me ask you too, like, where do you see all of this kind of going? I mean, obviously you've been DJing for quite a while and doing the content for quite a while, but like you've been able to see the changes as most people have, and I feel like we've had to sit down and say, okay, is Twitch still going to be the platform? Is YouTube going to be the platform? We've been seeing a lot of the VRChat DJs being up on TikTok. I know we've had some comments in the chat right now about TikTok as well. But where do you kind of see it heading? Like between streaming on here, on here being Twitch, or even just kind of just solo dolo on a CDN in VR.
Right now, I'm perfectly comfortable on Twitch. It's mainly a lot of my audience has put investment to it. Like it's something I've invested a lot into, so it would make sense to throw away. I've always thought about geo streaming onto other platforms in the future, but right now, I mean, there's another chat that I have to monitor, and the less things I'm having to monitor while DJing, the better. Like a lot of the problem I have is that a lot of my mods, they have to mod while they're working, so they can't be always keeping a Hawkeye on chat. So trying to throw in another chat that I'm having to independently monitor doesn't really make sense right now. But I've always been open to the idea to spreading things out more. But of course, I'm in the VRChat. No, not the VRChat, the Twitch DJ program, which somewhat is save my ass from bullshit copyright claims, which I've never got, by the way. I'm proud of that metric, mainly because I play underground music and I haven't been caught. Anyway, come on, we have VRChat DJs. Most of the music we play is technically, I don't think we got the exclusive rights to. And sometimes I prefer it that way, not greedy corporations trying to take all of my DJing money. But hopefully in the future, I want to start geo streaming and even finding time to just make content on it, short content on other platforms as a way to help pull people in. This year, I'm working on a merch store through Uwu Market as another form of income stream, and it is simply because I've got more money and more resources to continue to grow my channel and keep its upkeep. Because DJ gear repairs are expensive, VR gear is very expensive. My Beatport bill of buying new music each month is also very expensive. So when it all comes down to it, I need to find ways to make sure what I'm doing is sustainable. And unfortunately, that means capitalism.
Finding money.
Like
I
it,
mean,
but
merchandise is cool too.
merchandise is cool. I just received a finalized commission for my second edition of my body pillow, and I believe I'm just waiting for one more art piece coming around April, and then I'll be all good to go with getting a store out.
You know, this
so people can.
This is always a very complicated question to ask, but how big do you want to get?
As big as I'm allowed to, essentially. A bit I say it's like I feel like it's earned. Like I don't have a goal in mind. I feel like the amount I want to get, maybe like Twitch partner would be nice. It's like maybe you could consider the end goal for me. But I never really saw myself as being like a massive streamer. I'm very comfortable at the size I am right now. It's enough that it's manageable. Chat's not too overwhelming. I'm not having to constantly deal with community drama or anything. But I think there will be eventually a time where, if I do end up growing, that I'll kind of lose it and I'll definitely miss it. But I think I'm good where I am now. But I'm never opposed to growing a bit more and being able to share my love with happy hardcore with more people.
And one of the reasons why I bring it up is because from time to time we're constantly asking this question, and on the show we talk a lot about bridging the gap between what we do here virtually and IRL. And one of the biggest topics that has been kind of in and out of conversation as of recently is creating those cross-platform portals. Those I keep coming up with different phrases for it, but I'm just gonna say portals, where you can go to like a convention and they'll set up a kind of like a screen, and the same instance is in VRChat, so you could be talking with VRChat people IRL. And it's starting to kind of gain popularity between VTubing and convention spaces, even more so. And I'm not hinting towards an obvious actual thing that is happening, but while also out in Vegas, I ran into a cosplay bar that is looking to do portal streams with people at the bar. So people in VRChat could be at a bar while also communicating with some cosplaying people in Vegas at this cosplay bar. And they're starting to kind of develop that, like, that there's forward motion with this. It's not even a matter of getting money or finding notoriety. Or, I mean, obviously, when I was there, I was just like, so when are we going to get the DJs performing? Like, obviously, I could be in my bedroom performing for people in Vegas, and I could be in Vegas, you know, stuff like that. But, like, that's starting to kind of pick up the pace. And with that being said, it's only a matter of time that either A, more conventions are happening, maybe they can hire talent that's in here, DJ talent that performs a specific genre where they don't actually have to, like, spend hundreds of dollars to send you over to a thing. But more importantly too, that, like, the VTubers can get involved as well, especially with the conventions and stuff like that too. They already have, like, walking robots with the screen, the tablet screen, or let's just say festivals. You know, they have shit. I mean, if you were to have Coachella, Hatsune Miku's been on Coachella for how many years? Like, you would think that they would have picked that up because people are going to Coachella to go see Hatsune Miku. So kind of like, where do you think that's kind of going? And what else can we do to continue to push that idea that technology's here? We got some really cool DJs in here. And would that be something that you would want to be a part of?
Honestly, I'd love to see more VTuber DJs being able to play in bars and stuff, mainly because it makes it more accessible. I live in the middle of nowhere, and so I don't really have the same opportunities that maybe people in a well-connected US city would do for DJing, because I'm not paying for a $4,000 return flight just to DJ in some club somewhere. That's just completely out of my range. And given that I DJ a genre that's only popular in places very far away from me, typically, it opens up a lot more opportunities to us. And especially, like, if you're disabled, if you're worried about security concerns or your privacy, you can DJ from the safety of your own home. For instance, I don't particularly like going to bars a lot, as I've had quite bad experiences with, like, real bars and dealing with real people, where I feel much more uncomfortable in my element in my home, and I believe I can give a better performance when I'm surrounded by that kind of comfort. And I do want to see more of that. I mean, we already got virtual dancers popping up in these clubs. Why not also have a DJ, like, projection style, like Hatsune Miku, for instance? That would be really cool to see.
But do you think that regular people that aren't truly involved in VRChat, do you think that they will accept it finally? I feel like most of the time that we are accepting Vocaloids, as performers, as musical artists, we're also accepting that the term VTuber itself isn't really a demeaning thing, but just kind of like, okay, it's part of an anime something. So, like, obviously they're going to kind of feed into it. But even with virtual reality in general, do you think that IRL DJs will finally bend to the idea that there are some DJs in here that are actually performing pretty well?
I really hope so, given the fact, like, for example, anime's lost its stigma that it once had, so have VTubers to a degree. I would hope that they would be able to accept us, because a lot of us want to perform as a character. We feel more comfortable in our virtual skin. And as a way, we want to be able to project that character and not have to worry about, well, look, if it's too hot, I can just DJ in my underwear and chat doesn't know, they just see my virtual avatar. Like, I feel like a lot of my performance is degraded when I'm constantly having to worry about the way I look, and if that's being able to craft myself into the image that I feel like best represents me and my brand and my character, then I'm gonna be able to give a better performance. And I really just hope that people are gonna be able to accept people like us, because it's not weird. We're a real person. We're not AI. I'm not a robot. There is a real person behind this avatar that's just trying their best.
Listen, there's already been time and time again where I've talked to a lot of different conventions, and they're just like, why don't we get you on stage? You could perform DJing, and you get to wear your VR stuff. And I'm like, why? They're like, well, you perform in VR, so it'd be cool if you were in VR while you were DJing in front of a crowd. And I'll be like, I can't see the crowd, like, unless I have my Quest 3 on and I have the filter on. Like, What? What if I fall off the stage? Is that not important?
No, yeah, definitely not. I mean, that's the point. I'll just DJ in real life at that point. Why go through the hassle?
Well, it's like the same thing as like if you were gonna bring a VTuber in and that you're gonna literally put them on a flight to come in, and then when they go and perform, they're just sitting in their hotel room doing exactly what they would have normally done in their bedroom, but except they're literally around the corner.
In a hotel room with hotel shitty Wi-Fi? You gotta be kidding me.
You would think that they would kind of catch up on that, but
Yep.
before we get to the end of our show tonight, I know we kind of briskly talked a little bit about the future of what you want to do in 2026. Obviously, doing more merch and DJing and dancing and stuff like that. What about your community? Do you expect your community? Do you guys talk about DJing or producing music? What goes on in your community that you're hoping to see this year?
Oh, we've got a huge range. We've got people from other real life DJs and producers. In fact, I saw one of my favorite happy hardcore DJs in my chat. If they're still here, No Hero, who's all the way from Finland, if I'm not mistaken. I've just horribly said the country wrong. But also just doing a lot of community events and hangouts, enjoying time, being able to spend time with the friends that I have made through my streaming is just awesome. Doing more, I guess, get-togethers, pop-ups. I know that that was one of the things that we want to do, so eventually might do some random one-off live events in VRChat. But just more stuff like that. I'm in a very stable place right now, and it's just more like just gauging from the community what they want. I know at some point they want to see me in a maid dress for whatever reason. I've got no clue. I really do not understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, everyone wants to see me.
Everybody wants to. You kind of have to do it. Like even I had to do. It was for Halloween, and I was dressed up as a wolf maid for Halloween.
A wolf maid. Oh damn! I couldn't think anything more VRChat coded than that.
Right. I was comfortable with it. I think you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, but I think I'm in every place. I just want to do more things that involve my community more, because right now I've been mainly focusing on like getting my, I guess, stream to where I want it to be quality wise. And now I want to start focusing on a lot more community events, and especially that'll get a lot easier in the winter when I can actually get on VR when my community is going to be around and not turning into the Amazon rainforest, which is the main thing that hinders me for running events in, I guess, from December to like March due to the heat, due to it being summer, because I live in the southern hemisphere where the seasons are backwards.
Mm-hmm. But even more so for the DJs and for people that are watching on the replay up on YouTube, it's super important to be able to take some time, develop your community, talk to people that are here to support you, and or even more so that even if you don't have enough people currently in your lifetime, or if you're looking for more interaction and networking, find more clubs just like Chrysaora over here that you can join in and kind of hang out and get to know them a little bit more and some of the stuff that they do in the community. So I feel like a lot of people going into springtime are going to start looking for added communities to kind of be a part of. Before we get on out of here, normally for every guest that we've had on the program, we kind of break down and have a rapid fire series of questions where I just ask you some questions and hopefully get a really quick response. I didn't even send them over. Yeah, I mean, I would assume that if you watch some of the programming, then you kind of already know what kind of questions I'm going to ask. But out of everything that we've everything that we talked about today, between DJing and dancing and VTubing, content creation and stuff like that, what's a really good word of advice for anybody that is looking to start doing stuff that you normally do?
Believe in yourself. Figure out, actually, you know what? Listen to other people. Work out what other people are doing in the scene. Get inspiration. Decide, okay, I like listening to this person because of X reason. I dislike listening to this person because of Y reason. And the same thing. Sometimes you can listen to your own streams and performances. Say, oh, I liked when I did that, though actually that didn't work as well as I thought it in my head. And constantly learning and adapt, and not being afraid of criticism as well. Like not wanting to think that everything's rosy, handy-dandy and perfect. But no, it's sometimes nice to go like, actually, I didn't like the way your mix flowed due to X, Y, and Z. and like being able to incorporate that feedback and build upon it for future sets that you do.
Yeah, social simulation is kind of difficult at times, to be honest with everybody, but once you do have that honesty, that usually does help further on down the line. What is your Spotify looking like right now? What are some new people that you've been listening to online, and what are some consistent artists that you're listening to online?
For people listening to online, I'd say a lot of big UK hardcore mainstays who are going really hard in the genre right now, like Technicore, JTS, Snow Hero, Weaver, Mike Riveri, Cyril, some of the, I guess, hardstyle DJs as well, like Tone Shifters, Coon, The Tweakers. A huge range. In fact, every time I get a Spotify that guesses your age at the end of the year, I always get 18 because I'm always constantly listening to new music.
I love seeing that Cyril's kind of making a brief comeback. I mean, he obviously was really popular back in like Newgrounds era, but like consistently making new stuff and just playing huge crowds.
Yes, I mean, it really appeals to the anime loving crowd and all of the, I guess, like happy hardcore candy coated ravers. There's always been a vibe, and I'm glad he's back. Well, I guess he had a family to attend to, so I completely understand why he left. Well, he won't actually be around for his kids, I believe, is the reason. But I'm glad he's back now, occasionally doing a show, and I think that's a healthy way to do it. Because right now, I DJ 3 days a week, and I've been doing that for like 4 years. So occasionally, I'm like thinking like maybe at some points I need to take a bit of a big break because I'm DJing every Saturday night, and that means I'm never having a Saturday night where I can go out and do my own thing.
I feel like we all kind of have to deal with that as well, you know, taking a break. And listen, it's not selfish. You just need to do it for your health. And sometimes you want to go drink with your friends, and that's it.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, we've been kind of looking online recently, especially on YouTube, that people have been asking YouTube, who is the best DJ in the world?
Oh god, that's like trying to pick your favorite child. I don't think there's really a right answer to this because there's various different things you can be skilled at. Like, you ask me, like, best DJ, do you mean the best turntablist? Do you mean the best person who's good at creating a set? Do you think the best person who's actually just a good producer? Do you go for one that just has an overall, or maybe just someone who can get the most clicks
It
on
is the best.
social media?
Who is the best DJ in the world? That's basically that's the question.
The best DJ in the world? Gosh, no, I don't think I could ever give you an answer. And that's being genuinely serious. I don't think there is a metric that I can make up in my mind that will give you, I think this is the best DJ in the world. Because there are various different DJs I like equally because of different things they do. I don't think they're better than the other, they just got better skill sets in certain areas or genres.
That's true. I just found it kind of very funny to be able to kind of look at what was trending, and you have that. You have like, what's the greatest song in the world? But then again, I feel like a lot of people back in the day would say tribute, because that's how you lead into that. But it's kind of a loaded question, no doubt. It's instead of the best DJ in the world, who are your top 3 favorite VRChat DJs?
Oh my goodness. Again, choosing favorite children. But actually, I'll go back. So the first one I'll say I don't think DJs anymore in VRChat, but they did DJ back in the day, and they were a big influence for me doing happy hardcore. It was a DJ called It's Lumi VR. They used to play a lot like 2019, 20 to 2022-ish, like back when I was really getting into VRChat DJing. And Lumi was a massive inspiration, and one of the reasons that I am almost primarily a happy hardcore DJ these days. The second person that I will always be joining the sets of now. Oh god, this is like, again, it's like choosing a favorite. This feels so wrong. Oh my goodness. I'd say, yeah, I'll put Bert up there. It's one of my favorites, mainly because they're so chaotic and they're a genuinely nice person. I feel like they bring really chaotic energy and know how to like create a club and a vibe, and it probably influenced people to like a lot more people like weird distorted microwave noises than there otherwise would be. DJ number 3 for favorite VR DJs. I'm thinking primary DJs that aren't just like occasionally dabble in it. Gosh, I really should have. It's like the thing is, I don't have a list. I'm basically having to pull this out of
Well, that's
like
the reason why it's called a
6
rapid
years of
fire.
DJing.
Yeah, it's just got off the top of your head. If
Yeah,
they were
okay.
important, you would have said their name.
They were important. Oh, Jesus Christ! No, but the problem with me is I've been around active in the community since 2019. I just get this whole garbled mess full my brain, and trying to process that information is absolute torture. So I think those are the best 2 that I can name off my head, and everyone's tied for 3rd place.
That's fair enough. I mean, obviously, an answer like that is definitely still an answer. We've been trying to figure out what would be the best VRChat rave bingo card. What would you? What were the 5 spaces to get bingo?
Right. VRChat bingo card. Okay, from my time hosting and my time DJing. I would say someone has fallen out past drunk on the dance floor. That's number 1. Number 2, someone trying to ERP on the dance floor. Again, host things. Number 3, what was it? A lot of one of those a VRChat DJ accidentally pressing the wrong button or stopping a track prematurely. Number 4, someone. What's the number 4 most common thing we get? Someone trying to constantly communicate with the DJ like they're their best friend, even though the DJ can't hear them because they've got their headphones on.
That's a good one. I like that.
And number 5, someone crashing into a wall or other piece of furniture while dancing.
That seems lovely. A lot of people, when we ask that question, they'll just give us like the top 5.
No. Media's
chat.
also given a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Media's given a great one where you've got the text box where they say every single PC spec you didn't need to know above the avatar, including them listening to a song that's not even the DJ's listening.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that tends to be a thing too, and I'm just like, I'm glad I don't know how to do that at all. But great bingo. I wouldn't think about any of those. But before we get on out of here, where can we find DJ Chrysaora on the internet?
You can always find me on Twitch, on Twitter, on Blue Sky, in my Discord, or maybe in a local rave in VRChat. I typically try and get amongst the community whenever I can, whenever my time zone allows it, but you'll also see me in other worlds, like maybe a group public audience anarchy, because at the end of the day, I also like making an idiot out of myself on stage, so that tends to be the number 1 world you'll find me in if it's not on the dance floor.
Well, it's also very good to be able to see you perform so you could see the energy that you bring, because I feel, again, a lot of DJs, they're so focused on trying to get the music right that they keep forgetting that they have to actually dance and move around a little bit. So I say you've made it as a DJ if you can't be replaced with a Spotify auto-playing playlist. Honestly, I mean, if you could, then it gets kind of lame, I will say.
Yeah.
Kind of lame party. Chrysaora, thank you for coming on VRCDJLIVE. We look forward to all the different things you got coming up this year.
Yes, plenty of things. I'm already thinking ahead of I've already got a goal that I definitely want to play at least 1 or 2 VR festivals this year, so I'm going to put a lot of work in to try and secure those. Also, because I love playing for them, it's like a big event. It was like the feeling of being able to play on a massive stage. Of course, keeping up with all of my DJing streams, I always enjoy every single one, being able to hang out with the community, and plenty more hangouts. I promise I'll get around to it, chat. It's gonna happen.
Well, I'm really glad to have you on the show, and we look forward to seeing you, whatever you got going on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And
Hell yeah.
that's going to do it for us for VRC DJ Live. This episode, of course, if you are watching this on Twitch, or you just got in and started watching this episode on Twitch, you just missed out on a really awesome interview. We are going to be having your highlight up for you tomorrow on Friday, and the full recap, the full replay up on YouTube at VRC DJ Live. Of course, you can find everything that we've got going on social media, including ways that if you want to be a guest on the show, or your community, or you're part of the rave community, you can find everything from our link tree to our regular social media, X and Blue Sky, all up on our link tree at VRCDJ Live, which also, for those people that are watching, a really good incentive, drum roll please. Our schedule for March is going to be released up on social media this Saturday, but you guys get to see it first. We're going to be joined next week by Paul Manton, who's going to be sitting in kind of talking a lot about way back in the day of kind of getting in and supporting our community, getting to know the Japanese community, as well as what they're doing right now as far as their DJing and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's silly goose.
The following week, we're going to be joined by Talk Straight and Oxide of Pulse. And we're going to talk to their community as their community continues to grow, definitely alongside of Rave Factory and Contain. And they've got a lot cooking for 2026. So you're definitely going to want to come in and ask all of the questions, including how you two can also be performing for Pulse as well. Followed by the following week, we're going to be sitting down with Copper T. Fox, who is still relatively new to our community, our rave community. But I'll just really kicking a lot of butt when it comes to performing and their stylings and what they really want to do in the future, and how they continue to grow in our community. Also, too, I know we are missing one date here on the poster, and that's because I will be down in Miami at the end of the month for the Winter Music Conference, which we might do a live remote and hopefully get to talk to some really big DJs. So we'll make sure that we post everything for you about that up on X and Blue Sky. And obviously you'll be able to recap this entire interview and the poster up on Instagram a lot later. So obviously a really good time to bring everybody here. So for Chrysaora, our guest, and the VRC DJ Live staff behind the glass, I'm Rob Roman. Thank you guys for coming by, and we will see you next time.